Hi folks, I just want to do a quick overview, kind of a quick review of the Beavertail Stealth 2000. I'd like you to know just a few basic things. It's an honest 12 foot, probably weighs 150 pounds, despite what you might have seen in their documentation. And it is quite wide. I think it's 44 inches wide when I've measured it. And it has a catamaran style hull, which you can kind of see here. Now what the cat style hull does is it increases the stability greatly. There's a trade-off though. When you go with a cat style hull, you get increased stability, but you also get increased drag. So I'll tell you right up front, this is not a kayak for setting speed records. You're not going to win any races with it. So this is, if you want a fast, lightweight kayak, you need to be looking at like the New Canoe Frontier or something. But that's which sells for about $1,500. This, on the other hand, you can get these for probably around $600. Now I've added a few things to it that don't come with it, the various tie downs and the paddle clip, etc. Oh, and speaking of paddles, one thing you need to know is you're going to need a 9-footer, and that's a 9-footer, so 280 centimeter or greater. This particular one that I bought was 99 bucks total with shipping, but anything shorter than that's really difficult to work with because of the width of this boat. The Beavertail has a dry storage. The 2000 has a dry storage here. Works pretty good. It's big enough to be useful. The only problem I have with it is that when you're actually out in the water, bobbing around, trying to access this thing can be exciting unless you have a really good sense of balance. It's held on by some high quality bungee cords. They didn't scrimp on that. The boat has cutouts in various places. I don't know what they're for. For example, am I supposed to put my thermos there or my coffee cup? I'm not quite sure. And this space, I don't know what to use it for. It's just, to me, it's general purpose stuff. I know they have a motor mount that drops in this space and bolts here. But I don't use it. Anyways, so the boat has gun racks in it, which not just hold guns, but hold fish pole and stuff. The capacity is right there. Now, you need to understand that that capacity has less to do with the maximum the boat can handle and actually float, and more to do with how the boat handles when it's been capsized or in this case swamped. One thing you need to note is that these are not scopping holes. I don't know what they're used for, but they don't go all the way through, so they do not drain the boat. You want to drain this boat while you're in it, I suggest you carry a great big sponge with you. That would probably be the best. There's a platform that's for your doggy, and once you get your dog used to it, works pretty good. Loading this boat by yourself up on a rack is a little bit of a trick. The single easiest way to do it is if the back of your truck, my particular truck's got a little hitch ball on the bumper, and what you do is take a rope or strap, in my case, that's shorter than the boat is long. In this case, my strap stops out at about 9 foot. Hook the strap on the bumper first over the loop, and then when you go to raise the front end and set it on your rack, the back end of the boat is captured with your strap. Then you can toss it up by yourself. It's not a big deal. You know, I'm not small, but the boat's manageable by one guy who's got a mind to do it. In my opinion, I haven't had this all that long. Durability on this thing ought to be just great. It's rotomolded hull. What that means is that it's fairly thick plastic. Here's some shavings from me drilling in it, and what you see, get that focused. What you can see is that it's plastic, and then it goes to foam. The foam that's in there is to provide structural support. The sidewalls on this are very rigid. The catamaran keels are very rigid. The open part of the bottom here and underneath is fairly flexible. I'll tell you right now, the first main downside to this thing is the seat. The seat is crap. If you look down here, try to show this, you see how that wiggles back and forth? Well, that movement, this is supposed to be a battery box, I guess. Anyways, that movement in the seat makes this thing wiggle around, and if you don't have a good sense of balance, you can get tossed out of the boat because you lose your balance, out you go. You can ask me how I know that. I think they could have spent another $369 and come up with a better seat. The actual seat material and this plastic seat back and stuff is pretty good. Just the base of it that sucks. Okay. Usage so far, I've been out about 6 times in lakes. The boat, like I said, is not going to set any speed records, but it does move, and I can go off and paddle about a mile and a half before I feel like I'm kind of pooped out with it. If you need to cover some distance, then you probably need to think about getting a motor for it. I didn't want to do a motor because I didn't want to hassle with my state and their goofy boat registration that I'd have to do. As long as I don't put a motor on this thing, I don't have to register it. So, is it worth the $500 or $600? Yes. What is it? It's a duck boat. It's a hunting platform or a fishing platform. Is it in the same caliber as say the New Canoe Frontier? No, not even close. But on the other hand, this is $600. The New Canoe, like I said, sells for about $1,400. So it meets my needs, works. Other than that crummy seat, I don't have any complaints with it. I feel safe when I'm bobbing around. I take the grandkids, and they bob around, and I don't worry about it. Hope this helps you. Thanks. Bye.